looking at you kids.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
This seems so fun.
There's no place like home.
I'm gonna make him an offer down with you.
And the Oscar goes to...
Okay, CODA.
Ladies and gentlemen, CODA has won Best Picture. I don't know how to fade stuff out yet here on StreamYard. I'm not sure. They need to make that capability because otherwise it's just kind of you're waiting for something to happen. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome to the 100th episode of Gone with the Wind.
What an episode we have for the 100th episode.
I know. Yeah, I will say nothing too spectacular. This is more of our, we'll plan something later before we head out into the wild blue yonder for this season. But this is going to be kind of a reaction. We're on a time crunch. We have about an hour to really discuss things. But hey, you know what? That's okay. In terms of predictions, there's not really a lot to, I can already know who did the best of us, and that's Dan. Dan got the editing out of the three of us going different ways. But anyway, hi, I'm Manning. I'm your host of Gone with the Wind, the show about award shows where we talk about, you guessed it, award shows. And I'm here with Malcolm himself. Right, Malcolm?
Yeah, I'm still mad at Manning for convincing him to change best original screenplay, but we'll get into that later.
Sorry. And also, who he easily did the best of us. I think literally you've missed did you miss only one?
One.
This guy missed one. This is your best, right, Dan, you've ever done?
Yeah, it's the very best but you know what? It kind of makes me sad because 9 people and a couple got perfect 23 for 23 on Gold Derby.
I know, right?
When the party was out, I thought, oh, I got this. 22 has got it. No, somebody had the damn windshield wiper. 9 people had exactly what I had and had the windshield wiper.
I will say, we did say that windshield wiper was the spoiler. We all three of us said that. So
I didn't. It wasn't like I didn't like the animation. I loved. It wasn't a coherent story. It was like all these clips of. It's like how is that something that people think is great? I guess they love the animation.
But as I said, it's also a bunch of vignettes talking about love and all that. So
it's very artistic. It's very poetic. It's not a very linear story. It's more of a feeling, and I liked it. I didn't love it, so I'm not upset that it won because I think it had some really striking animation. But
yeah,
regardless,
yeah.
I missed 3, so I did 20. Obviously,
I think me and you did the exact same, missed the exact same ones.
We missed the exact same 3, but hey, this was still pretty good. It could have got a lot worse for us, but it's still good. I guess I don't take a swing and a miss on original screenplay next time. But yeah. Oh well. I wanted to go big or go home, and really, there wasn't overall. There wasn't a lot of when it comes to winners. Nothing really kind of shocking, which, okay, sure. I'll take it every now and then because sometimes I feel like there's 1 or 2 that are always going to give us a big shock, but not this year.
Shock every day, Manning. Shock.
I will take a shock. I will take shock over just the predictability, but some deserving winners. But Malcolm, are you going to say something?
Well, I was about to say, I think the thing that came closest, the biggest shock was Dune winning editing over 2 of the 8 Eddie winners.
I will say to that film editing was still the craziest, might be the wrong word, but it's still the most it was the most up in the air where you could literally have made an argument for everything. So I mean, props to Dan for sticking with Dune. Because it didn't win everything, I was thinking it didn't win anything. How is it going to win that? But you're right, Dan. Good for you for sticking to your guns.
The biggest winner of the night next to CODA. Screenplay, supporting actor, and best picture. We consider that the biggest winner because it won.
That's saying something.
But the overall biggest winner, Dune, with 6, my number 1 movie of the year. I knew it was going to clean up
happy.
in the it's the Mad Max Fury Road of this year. It was gonna,
but without the director
nom. Say that again.
But without the director nom.
How do you not now? In hindsight, how do you not give Dune a best director nod?
I genuinely think most people in that, because obviously he was the one who was over all this. I genuinely think people were like, "Oh, he's safe. I'm going to vote someone else in." That's what I think ultimately happened. Part 2, here we come though. Part 2 for a nomination. Here we go.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Not only does he get nominated, but he wins.
Let's wait and see what his competition is that year before we make a declaration like that.
But let's get into the elephant in the room here.
I was about to say, I know there is one thing that we need to talk about, because obviously it is the one thing that is talking about on the water cooler at my work, metaphorically speaking. It's the one thing people talk about. They'll say CODA won Best Picture, but either preceding or after that, they will also mention, from what I've been dubbed the slap heard around the world. That is the moment, really awkward and kind of utterly bizarre moment where Chris Rock made a joke and Will Smith proceeded to what we all thought was a bit at first, well, let's just watch.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
And that is exactly what happened. The then proceeded to get really awkward. If you were on the American broadcast, stuff kind of went out for you. And honestly, I didn't know what was going on until they switched back to the Will Smith mouthing the words. I believe it's keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he said. I heard all of that.
You heard it, because they didn't censor it in New Zealand.
Australia. I got the Australia feed, and I heard the whole thing.
Yes, he let it rip. He let it fly. When you find out later, and it kind of left this really weird, awkward nature, which kind of transitioned over to his win, and kind of sadly, really kind of clouded the rest of the night, because people kept looking back and thinking, "Wow, this happened," and you couldn't really get it out of your mind. Not just talking about Summer of Souls, Questlove's win, who was right after that, awkward as that was, it just kind of hovered over everything until ultimately CODA won, and we kind of all forgot about it until we woke up in the morning and Twitter was ablaze, and you can't get rid of it. Guys, I told Malcolm, and I think I told you, Dan, this too. I'm already tired of the slap. I'm already tired of this entire conversation. Listen, they've apparently apologized. He recently left out a statement, which Dan will have you read in a second. Will Smith did. Was it the best way that it was handled? Obviously not. I don't know what's going through his head at the time, because it doesn't feel... You're literally about to win an Oscar. And yes, I think it was a distasteful joke, but take him out afterwards and say, "Hey, what you did was really uncool, and I do not respect the joke of way you're talking to my wife right now." For those who are unaware, Jada Pinkett Smith has, I'm going to mispronounce this horribly, but it's
alopecia.
Alopecia or
alopecia.
Alopecia. Thank you. And I understand that was very difficult to be able to hear. If someone you love is kind of told a really bad joke that way, of course you feel defensive. I'll finish my 2 cents, and then I'll have Dan. I want you to be able to tell us what he said, and then give us your response to that and what you thought of that entire situation. It was just kind of awkward and weird, and now we're talking about that over the monumental wins that, guys, like CODA defeated so many statistics to win Best Picture and provide such needed representation. And now we're just talking about the slap. I understand why, because it's so random and out of left field. But here we are. It just kind of was a very unfortunate scenario, and I kind of wish we can move past it, hopefully, at one point. And I know it's going to, hopefully... This is kind of like the La La Land Moonlight debacle, but with only 2 people instead of an entire audience that was involved. And I really don't care for it. But Dan, those are my thoughts upon it. I feel like it was a really unfortunate situation, and Will Smith should have left it until later when he and Chris Rock could actually talk about this, and he could let his thoughts be known instead of doing this public for everyone to hear. Not saying the joke wasn't distasteful. But Dan, what are your thoughts? But first, can you actually, before you hear your thoughts, can you tell us what Will Smith's response? He literally just put this out like literally 30 minutes ago. Could you tell us what that is and then give us your thoughts?
These are Will Smith's thoughts. He posted these on Twitter about an hour ago. Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and unexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to hear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in the world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will. I want to tell you, I was watching this and it looked like a skit at first. Yep. I was watching it in an audience full of people, and it looked like a skit at first. The people I was sitting next to, was that real? Was that? I said, no, that couldn't have been real. But as the time had progressed, I had realized it was real. And I didn't hear the words. All we could hear is Will Smith's mouth moving. See, I didn't know what he was saying. And then I was going on my phone because I was posting the winners. I was live tweeting all the winners to Instagram. And somebody had sent the Australian feed of what had been said. And then they showed the whole video. So then I started to kind of have an opinion about what was going on. And one of the things that you have to realize is when you have a family member and somebody insults, degrades, or belittles a family member of yours, especially in this situation where you have a family member who's been public about a condition, a disease that they have, and they're making fun of that person. Your job as a husband isn't to just sit there and like, oh, okay, just insult my wife, belittle her medical condition, this or that. And I've been there in my life, and I've said things to people about people that I later regretted saying. And to this very day, I still feel sorry and feel guilty for the things I've said about people to other people. And I have a family member who, when people have said things about myself, my brother, my family, have literally sought out somebody and went and beat the crap out of, literally beat the crap out of them in a gymnasium full of people, because you don't talk about my family, you don't talk about my brothers, and that's how my family handles things sometimes. That being said, I do not condone violence. I was abused as a child. I had a life of abuse growing up, and I know what it's like to be hit. I know what it's like to be punched, slapped, hit with a belt, and it's not fun and it's not exciting. So as far as Chris Rock standing there having been slapped in the face, that couldn't have been easy for him. But he handled that like an absolute professional, and he moved on with the nominees of Best Documentary. But I've also been in Will Smith's position where I'm not going to have you say things about myself, my family, my brothers, my sister, whatever. And you think you can just say whatever you want to say because it's comedy or it's everything's fair game or this or that. How people handle things is their own. Everybody handles things differently. Will Smith on that particular moment had a moment of weakness, just like I have had in my past where like I said, I've said things to people about people that still to this day, I regret saying, and I wish I could take back. And we've all been there. We've all had that moment where, why did I just do that? That is reprehensible what I just did or said or whatever. And I've been in Will Smith's shoes before. And it cannot be easy what he had to go through because he was dealing with, how dare you go after my wife like that? And there's a history between Chris Rock and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. He attacked them a couple of years ago because of certain Oscar so white issues. And so this has been an ongoing narrative between these two for a few years now. And I think it just all came to a head in this situation. And I know Will Smith, those comments on Twitter by Will Smith, those are genuine. You read those comments, you could tell those are genuine statements. He realized after everything is going on, and that's sometimes what it happens. It could be hours. It could be days later. You realize, oh, what did I say? Why did I do that? Why did I say what I said to such and such? Why did I, whatever? And I've done it with different things myself. So I understand how he's feeling. With that being said, I do not excuse what he did. I do not excuse him going up there, slapping Chris Rock in the face. Now, as far as the Oscar goes, he won that Oscar, just like Pete Rose. Pete Rose had the title of the greatest hitter in baseball. He got those hits. He should be considered the best hit man in baseball. For him, gambling in baseball, being thrown out of baseball for gambling, had nothing to do with the hits that he got. Will got that trophy. He earned the trophy for acting. He did a job. They voted for him as the best actor. He should keep that trophy. Now, should he be suspended from the Academy for his actions? That's probably the penalty he will have to pay for what he did. To me, that is and do some community service or whatever. That to me would be the most obvious thing you would do. You'd suspend him from the Academy for so many years, make him do community service, but you can't take away what you've already given him. He's won it fair and square. He earned it. That's it. And those are my comments on the issue.
Well, first off, thank you for sharing that, Dan. We genuinely appreciate you opening up with that. But what I wanted to say is that the Oscars gave Roman Polanski Best Director. He is literally not allowed back into the country because he's literally
couldn't accept.
And to me, honestly, if they are going to remove him from the Academy or take away his Oscar, it would reflect incredibly poorly when, especially if someone like that is still out there. Yep. Regardless of the quality of films, I'm speaking upon the substance of the man.
Yeah.
And the fact that would be the case, it would be an incredibly horrid double standard, I think. Like, yes, Will Smith is an iconic man, but over Roman Polanski, but it's just like, or something like that. It's just kind of like, there's a moment of weakness. You're right. And I just kind of hope that we can move past this. Repercussions, sure, but I think there needs to be some nuance in the Academy as they are reviewing. Need to figure that out. But yes, please go ahead, Malcolm. your thoughts and tell us what your thought process was.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this apology was part of the Academy review, because the Academy might have said, look, if you apologize and all that, then the consequences might not be as severe. It's one of those ones like and yeah, I've said this many times on many things. Like, for all those saying it's staged, it definitely wasn't staged. If I mean, look, if you're going to stage something like this, why do it? Why have Chris Rock come out and present an award? Do it. Have Chris Rock come out and do a comedy bit, and then have all that. Don't overshadow someone's win with all this bullshit. And but yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that it both burnt at fault, and this is why I think the Academy sort of need to say for next year, look, to anyone presenting or hosting or whatnot, if you're going to make a joke about someone, go to that person and say, I'm going to say this, is it okay? And if it's not, then don't say it. And because if you're going to offend someone and you're going to risk potentially someone else coming after you and slapping you on stage, which they don't really want to happen again.
No.
And I mean, so I think it was Scott Feinberg from the Hollywood Reporter that actually tweeted out sort of the in between commercial thing, because you actually saw Denzel, Tyler Perry, and even Bradley Cooper sort of talking to afterwards, sort of going, trying to calm him down a little bit, and sort of getting his head clear, because they knew his best actor was coming up, so they knew that he really didn't want to get up on stage and then yell at Chris Rock some more and use his stage for that. So, they definitely sort of care about, well, like they just want to make sure he was okay and all that, and it's just one of those ones that really shouldn't have happened. Will Smith definitely feels remorse for it, judging from his words. We really don't need to keep talking about this, but unfortunately, people are still going to talk about it because unfortunately, when big things like this happen, because I mean, one example that I actually brought up in the chat to someone else a few years ago for the Grammys. Does anyone know who won the Grammys that year that Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift? I know that.
Apart from that,
okay,
outside,
no idea. No idea.
Yeah, all you remember is Kanye interrupting Taylor, and unfortunately, for the winners of this year, a lot of people are going to look back on this Oscars going, "Oh yeah, that was the year that this happened," as opposed to that was the year CODA won Best Picture.
Yeah, my buddy Adnan's Moonlight won Best Picture has now been usurped. That was the moment of the Academy Awards history. Not anymore, my buddy Adnan. Now it's this. And it's going to be a bad mark on the Academy for a long time until something, God forbid, something takes over.
But it's one of those ones like, I'm kind of surprised because I think even Rachel Cushing said it on Twitter. I'm surprised that the Academy didn't take Will out of the auditorium after that happened and just let him still be there to be able to go up on stage for his award.
Yeah, they weren't going to do it. They knew he was one of the biggest stars there. He was right center, front and center. They knew Best Actor was coming up and he was going to win. They weren't going to mess around with that right then.
I will say there is something I'm trying to find. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw like there was a statement by the Academy or someone behind the scenes was saying the equivalent of Oh, where was it? I should have taken a screenshot of it. But basically, it was saying they were thinking about meeting, but because they were all spread out, the producers, they couldn't have an official meeting to kick him out just yet, so they couldn't react. But again, I don't know how much of that is just PR, and they just didn't want to do it because they were like, he's going to win. You know how awkward it would be if they say, Will Smith was not here. He literally was here. Did you guys take him away? That would even be even more, which regardless, it was still awkward because he was trying to walk that line in his speech of being accepting and also apologizing for what just happened. And it kind of ruined his moment.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, it is what it is. Can you imagine if Will Smith was escorted out and who goes to accept the award on Will Smith's behalf but Chris Rock? How awkward would that
would be? That'd be
his wife would have got up there.
Salt. Yeah, or
probably.
Well,
that's provided that Jada wouldn't have left with Will just to go and make sure her husband is okay. Because I know a lot of people bringing up the real life issues, the real life stuff, whatever their relationship is not count.
Well, I mean, not that it's the same, Malcolm, but sometimes, like you brought up the Grammys. Sometimes these various like rappers will get up there, and one group of rappers is from New York, and the other group of rappers is from Los Angeles, and they put their they go after each other sometimes. These not that it's the same because it was violence and so, but a lot of some of that similar stuff happens with the Grammys when it comes to these East Coast, West Coast rappers that have beefs with each other and stuff like that. But and we don't know. We've seen like deaths. Certain rappers are shot and killed, and other rappers are like accusing East Coast rappers of killing West Coast rappers, and there's gang stuff involved. So that's just not that it's close to what happened here, but there gets beefs in various groups. People just don't get along with other people sometimes. And I guess this just it just came to a head at this particular moment. He just couldn't, it was just too much for him to handle at that moment. And he lost his cool when he went up there and he slapped him in the face. Right. Like I said, we don't condone violence.
Yeah, well, this is the last thing I will say on this because we could go on and on talking about this.
But I want us to wrap up. So please, Malcolm, wrap us up.
But yes, like people have beefs in that in the music industry. When it comes to big awards, you should be able to put your beefs aside and be able to just coexist. I mean, if Will Smith got up and did a rap battle with Chris Rock, it would be fun with that. No one would care either way. Not that I'm saying Chris Rock can rap, but if they just got up and had words and that and had it tasteful, then they'll be fine. But it was physical violence, which is a completely different issue altogether. But yeah, whatever happens. I mean, I don't know if they will reveal if any consequences happen regardless.
They might press from like a press release or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely not staged.
No, I think we can all agree with that.
Absolutely. I mean, wow, it's going through my phone. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, this ain't staged. But there was a sound effect. When he hit him in the face at first, there was a sound effect. So I thought, oh, maybe that was like a fake thing. There was like a weird sound effect.
No, I think because he had it was literally, that's how hard he hit him, enough to where there was a sound of the skin hitting skin.
Okay.
Because again, the mic's right there. So
yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But regardless, all right, moving right along. The Oscars.
Yep.
They happened despite the slap.
These three behind me were the three big winners, by the way.
Holy cow, they were. How'd you know?
How did I know that?
How did you know? Oh, wow. All right. But so the Oscars did something different. I love how they decided to try to cut down the biggest controversy that we've seen with the Oscars. While there have been there's some good deserving winners, there were no big surprises that seemed to take us all, well, for lack of a better term, by surprise. Most of it kind of will talk to and keep to the idea of like, what did we think of the ceremony in of itself? Because a lot of us were being like unhappy with how they said they were going to quote unquote edit some of the below the line wins, like the shorts or the editing or production design, etc. Score. How did we think that looked? What was your opinion upon that, Malcolm? Oh no, go ahead, Dan. If you have a thought, please go ahead.
Okay, look, this is so funny. If you go back and watch our episodes in the past, we've had this discussion. Like, oh, they're gonna try to keep it to 3 hours, and they're gonna edit in the things, and it's gonna go smooth, and it's gonna go great. How about if you add that hour of the 8 awards that they gave away, plus the 3 hours and 40 minutes, it was 4 hours and 40 minutes. The show was, so they weren't cutting the show down.
Nope.
They made the show longer. They emphasized the songs. And we got multiple song performances, and a song that's not even nominated, which is a good performance. I don't have any problems with it, but it just turned out to be okay. So nobody knew what was going to happen until you watched it, and you're like, oh, okay. So you were trying to make it shorter. You wanted to make the 3.5 hours, what you wanted it to be, and put the stuff that you didn't want on that part below, so it wouldn't interfere with your show. Packer, the guy that was produced, and I don't think the show was produced bad. I actually thought the show was produced good. It just, this whole ABC wants it to be shorter and all this stuff.
Well, I think ABC does want it to be shorter, but it's impossible for 3 hours. It's impossible. They need to give it up. It's not going to be 3 hours. Make it a nice 4 and go all in.
It's what I've said before, Manning. Super Bowl Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. If Super Bowl Sunday is 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock at night, it's still Super Bowl Sunday. If you're a football fan and you love football and you're all in on football, then you care about Super Bowl Sunday. It doesn't matter how long it is, what's going on, you're going to be all in on Super Bowl Sunday. This is the Super Bowl for movies.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl for movies. You don't care. I've already watched like 5 hours of red carpet stuff this morning after, when I went home, watched some stuff last night, got up again, watched about 5 hours. So I don't care how long it is, who's talking. You want to talk about fashion? Go ahead. Talk about who you might think is going to win. Get interviewed. It's our Super Bowl. It's the pundit Super Bowl, the critics Super Bowl, the actors Super Bowl, the people in the industry Super Bowl. We don't care how long it is. Just give us something that's entertaining. And I'll be honest with you, I thought last night was very entertaining. The 3 hosts were fun. Amy Schumer coming down as Spider-Man was great. And, she has some amazing moments. But the 3 of them at the beginning, I thought they were fantastic. And I really enjoyed it. So, other than the Will Smith thing, I really enjoyed the show all around.
Malcolm?
Yeah, I also really enjoyed. It's one of those ones like, as I've said all along, they interspliced those awards are pre-recording in between in the segment. I actually think it flowed. I actually think it worked when they could find a spot to put them in.
How ironic was it to put Tammy Faye's makeup and editing award right before Jessica Chastain wins Best Actress? Don't tell me that wasn't a good decision right there. Boom, boom, back to back.
Well, once again, they don't know who wins the awards beforehand, so it could have fell flat on their face as well.
Again, they don't know who wins the award because remember, Moonlight and La La Land happened.
Yeah,
no,
and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, and if the viewership was is to go by, having hosts back hosting it worked for them because this doubled made the viewership go up from last year, which was the lowest rated one. So, what may not have worked as best as they could, it still managed to make people actually care more. And it's one of those ones I'd like to see a breakdown of this viewership number, see when people actually tuned in, because if they all mostly tuned in at that certain moment, then it's probably not a good indication.
Don't forget that moment they would have tuned in after, so they would have missed it completely. So then there'd be a spike in viewership afterwards.
Yeah,
almost 16 million watched it.
Mm-hmm. Now I will say though, I think we almost all agreed that we were going to see a bump regardless. It only was a matter of I knew they weren't going to go down because the movies that were nominated this year, I think, were just more populous in comparison to last year. When you have something like Dune, Don't Look Up, even, and CODA. Like, CODA was a little movie that could, because everyone in my work and news has seen CODA, and they love CODA. So even stuff like that, I think people just kind of know these films more than, no offense to Nomadland, they know more about it than a Nomadland or The Father last year.
Yeah.
So I think we were always going to have more, and I don't want them to think, maybe I'm Oscar the Grouch. I didn't really care for this show at all. I don't like comedy bits. I do not like their comedy bits at all. The one with Kirsten Dunst and her getting up a seat filler, didn't find that funny.
That's so funny.
No, I didn't.
She hadn't been there a lot, and they acted like she hadn't been invited to the Oscars, and this is her first nomination. And so, okay, I'll pretend like you're a seat filler or something.
No, I understand that, but to me, it's I'm not a big comedy bits in my. I just give me a great funny witty monologue, and then just present the awards. Like the SAG to me was the perfect. That's my type of award show. And I'm realizing the older I get and mature and figuring out who I am as a person, I just want us to see and to celebrate a movie. That's why something like Kevin Costner's speech and director really resonated. That was beautiful and really hit home. I just think, I'm not saying they were bad. I just found a lot of the bits, especially Regina Hall's one about the COVID test and the men in the audience. I did not find that funny.
Stealing up the guys.
No. No. I can't think about. Okay, what about if it was? Okay, think about if it was reversed. If the sexes were reversed.
You're not going to do that.
No, I don't think that should be done either way. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. You want to talk, Malcolm, please?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. That one was really awkward. I think I said in the chat, like, I mean, of course, they wanted any reason to feel. Of course,
real quick. She prefaced it at the beginning by saying she was single. And that's why it was a running gag all night long. So
but I just
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's one of those ones. Well, yes, she prefaced it. It doesn't make it right.
Yeah, it's just weird to me. The fact that she's like, "Here, let these hunk of men come over here."
I think it's in the chat for something like. I mean, they clearly just wanted any reason to feel up Jason Momoa.
Yep.
But I mean, like overall, I've enjoyed this. Like, there's only very minimal things I've enjoyed. Like, I kind of didn't like what they did with Bruno, with the random rap bit in the middle, which isn't part of this. I mean, it's one of those ones. Had they switched, we don't talk about Bruno and made it the opening number, that rap part would have made sense. Putting it in the middle of the Oscars, and some people have said, like, putting it right before when they announced Best Animated Feature, it makes people think it's those kind of planned things that makes people think like, well, maybe they did know who was going to win, because putting it right before Encanto made me think Encanto was going to win animated, which was the prediction anyway, but still.
And speaking of Disney, did you guys get a lot of like Hulu ads?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, not for me, because
I got Lightyear.
I got the Lightyear one, which, can I just say, why was that the only movie trailer? We should have had more movie trailers at the Oscars. Like,
Abbott Elementary.
Premiere it.
We got Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, but no movie trailers, Dan.
Yeah.
Movie trailers. Give
Yeah,
us
that was
movies.
weird. No movie trailers. You'd think we would have got some movie trailers at the
Yeah.
Oscars, you know, like
Yeah,
Super
I mean, I
Bowl,
don't
we
know
get
much.
movie
Yeah,
trailers, but
I don't know much about the Lightyear trailer because I didn't see it. But I think
Oh.
from what people were saying, it was basically the same sort of trailer that we got earlier. Anyway, it's like it,
Just new footage.
the only thing was the confirmation that it was definitely going to theaters. But I mean, one sweet moment I really like that I'm sad that no one is talking about is Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli on stage
was
together
sweet.
because you could tell Liza really wasn't there,
No.
which is sad. But Lady Gaga there to help her out and go, "I got you." It's like, I know. It's like it was just a really sweet moment, and I'm glad we got that. And more people should be talking about that and
What
not as some beef.
you know what? Somebody,
Yes.
I don't know where, Malcolm, but I saw somebody a while back predicting that Liza Minnelli was going to give away Best Picture because it was like the 60th anniversary of Cabaret.
Hooray.
Or something like
Well,
that.
good on them.
And I'm like,
Well-
dang it, how did you know that? And then, but on your point, Malcolm, what I kind of was a little upset about was, oh, we're gonna do the 50th anniversary of The Godfather, and Marlon got out there. I mean, Coppola got out there. Francis Ford Coppola got out there with De Niro and Pacino. Where's James Caan? Where's Diane Keaton? Where's Robert Duvall? Why isn't this a big thing? And it's like he talks for a minute or two, and the other guys are just standing there. It's like, that's all you're gonna do for The Godfather? I mean, what happened to this big thing for the 50th anniversary of The Godfather?
I mean, it's one of those ones I didn't think it was going. I honestly didn't think it was going to be a big thing. I thought it was like they were doing it. Because some of those pairings were because of the anniversary of insert movie here. Because you had White Man Can't Jump, Pulp Fiction, which I completely forgot. It's the anniversary.
Well,
of that.
it's the 20
years for Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction. And
I don't know
gave
why they
them an
picked
award
Pulp
to give
Fiction.
away. They put the whole suitcase where they gave an award away. And then the Godfather people just standing there. Coppola says a few things, and that's it. Like,
Yeah,
really?
I mean, look, it's one of those ones that I didn't mind them doing it like that because I didn't think, like as I said, I didn't think we were going to get a big thing about that because they wanted to stick to the time they had, which is fine. And I mean, it's one of those ones because I mean, I get the arguments that that you wanted everything sort of presented as is, and that's fine. But also get ABC's view on this, where they set aside a time for the Oscars, and they want so they wanted to keep to that. So I think they wanted to stick to that time while celebrating these things. I think if it was the full 4 hours or something, I think we would have got a bigger thing for
Yes.
especially for the Godfather, but which was a big anniversary. Maybe Cabaret, possibly. I don't know, but
No, Cabaret was earlier than The Godfather, I believe. Later than, maybe it was 40 years.
No. Wait. No, because remember, Cabaret came out the same year as The Godfather.
Yeah, so it's
Cabaret as well.
it's 50th anniversary for both of them. But to your point about I mean, I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get like Diane Keaton or James Caan. Maybe they just weren't available. So
you think they'd make themselves available if they, considering. I will.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're in the middle of filming other movies. I mean, let's just wait. Although in saying that, I do. I have to give it to Rachel Zegler for one of the best jokes of the night. It's like, I didn't know I was going to be here 6 days ago.
That was funny.
There you go. This is special. This is special effects, or this is visual effects. I can't remember, but yeah, I think that this is what I think the ideas of the tributes and them doing that and sprinkling that, they really should do that every year because you have a new anniversary for a film every year, and having little spurts like that, I think, is a good idea for them to present some below the line awards.
Because next year you'll have Jurassic Park anniversary, Schindler's List. I think it'll be Schindler's List as well, wouldn't it?
And you probably have Jane Campion come back because she's going to give away. You probably think she would have to give something away.
You would think,
Maybe
but Chloe Zhao didn't come in.
Maybe have her give away screenplay since she won screenplay 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
or director.
Well, I think if Jane Campion comes back, it will be to present director. And I mean, I know we're going to get into the awards in a bit, but you can tell Jane Campion is trying her best just to behaves like, do not bring up the Williams just on top of that.
She's like, paper. I love how she brought a paper because she's like, I'm gonna make sure I read through this. Because also I love her comment of like, wow, Kevin, so dramatic. I'm like, yeah, because it was good.
Also, you, John Yun, just being on stage looking like a proud grandmother when Troy Kotsur got up
sweet.
on stage. That
was so cool though, because you know he needed his hands to sign. So he could hold.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'll sit over here. I'll hold your statue while you sign. And
so sweet.
I mean, but like just the look at her face, she just looked like a proud grandmother. Like, yes, my grandson did it.
She seemed very in tune with every word that he was saying, or every word he was signing.
She signed with him.
She did.
Signed his name,
I didn't realize what she was doing until I looked back and I'm like, oh, that, and I realized my heart because he could see it first. And then it would find out that's just a really special moment. And that might have been my favorite, just like presenting / acceptance speech of the night, in my opinion. So I want to get into the awards for a little bit right here, because we only have about 30 more minutes. But what was we're not going to go through every award because it was kind of predictable, nothing big too, but I want to know, Dan, what was your favorite award of the night when you're like, yes, this one, I'm so excited. This actually is victorious at the end of the day. Is it one of the 6 Dune wins that it possibly got that night? Because wow, that's a stat.
Yeah. I told you before, Dune was my number one, and you're like, oh, don't give that away because we're going to do our top 10. I did my top 10 at the end of January, December. So my top 10's been out for 3 months, but I was happy to see Dune win 6 Academy Awards because I predicted it to win 6 Academy Awards, and I wanted it to win, and I wanted people to know this was an achievement, and it's not half of a whole. It's part 1 of 2, but it's a full movie, and it's an absolute achievement in sound, editing, production value, score, cinematography, which I said Greg Fraser was either going to win this year or he was going to win next year. He was going to win an Academy Award because you knew this guy wasn't going to just disappear. Greg Fraser wasn't just going to. So I was glad to see Greg Fraser win because I knew it was an achievement in cinematography. But mine was Jessica Chastain because I knew the journey that she had gone through with this project. It took 7 years to get this property, and she bought the rights to the documentary about Tammy Faye. And the director of that said when he saw the lengths she was going to go to become Tammy Faye and to do this, so her journey with this project was a decade long, and for her the makeup department and her, the combination of those two together, were able to stand up there and be proud and to accept this award. And then her speech was so touching and so just
genuine.
I was just so glad Jessica Chastain, because a lot of people thought, is she going to be the next one of these ones that's never going to win? She's going to keep getting nominated, never going to win because she's done, but she's climbed up that mountain and got that award. So now it's somebody else's turn. Hopefully Amy Adams. We get to see Amy Adams or Glenn Close eventually here pretty soon.
One day.
That's my moment. But I mean, the fact that these 3 films behind me are the 3 big winners, I think we're all winners. We are all winners when these 3 films behind me are the 3 big winners at the Academy Awards, because they're all 3 great films and well-deserved to win the awards that they did win.
What about for you, Malcolm? What your favorite?
I mean, Dune was definitely well-deserved to win the technical stuff, but all I see is two out of 3 great movies on that post.
We know it's not going to be in Malcolm's top 10.
I might surprise you, but anyway,
I don't think so, but please go on.
I mean, for me, my favorite one has to be CODA. Look, this was a movie that no one thought was going to win. Like, it was being predicted a long time that Power Dog was going to win. Then CODA starting picking up momentum really early, really late in the game, and like because I think Jeff Snyder actually put up a post going that he won about $2,500 from predicting CODA was going to win. Which I didn't realize people bet on the Oscars in America. It's
You
not a thing
can,
Yeah.
but it's illegal in some states, so I can't here in North Carolina.
But yeah, I mean, that has to be one of my favorite ones. I mean, that and aside of Jane Cameron sort of being the first female director to be nominated twice and actually getting a win, but that's a little bit biased on my part.
She did a good job with your backyard, Malcolm. I'll give her credit.
She did.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just one of those ones like, I mean, but as we said, a lot of those winners were like ones that we kind of predicted and just pretty much knew what was going to happen. Like, I'm just glad Don't Look Up did not win anything. That's what I'm taking away from this.
And one of the best jokes of the night by Amy Schumer.
That I will agree. That one was really funny. That was very funny.
Zingers. I'll tell you, she had some zingers up. And I got it recorded, so I'm going to rewatch it again. But I want to, real quick, Manning, I want to preface, go back. Malcolm, you're right. CODA, like I said, about two or 3 weeks ago, I rewatched it right between like the SAG and the Critics' Choice. And I just absolutely was crying watching that scene. Amelia Jones just singing that song at the end and have the and that's kind of the moment that really it hit me that this is going to win Best Picture and this is the best movie of the year. And I kind of had the realization at that moment. It was August to now, and it's like I'm crying still. I'm still emotional about this movie 10 months later. And this movie actually came out and premiered at Sundance 15 months ago.
Yeah.
And
Talk about sustaining.
It stood the test of time in like Nomad in a way, but also we needed a feel-good movie. And this is the feel-good movie. Is it the kind of Oscar caliber movies we've had in the past? Achievement in absolute filmmaking we've had in the past?
No.
Probably not. But is it? And I've always said this, the Best Picture winner is the movie that needed to win that year for various, whatever reasons that's going on in the world. And in a way, this was the movie that needed to win because we needed a feel-good movie. We needed a movie that championed underrepresented groups. In this case, the deaf community. My brother's half deaf, and Audible being nominated, Troy Kotsur winning, Shawn Hayter winning. I mean, it was a big win overall for the deaf community.
And I will also add. Do you want to add on to that? Because I'm switching gears slightly.
I was going to add on to something because Dan said something about Best Picture needing to win. I don't see a world where we needed Green Book to win.
I do. I do because you forget what was going on. Remember, we had the stuff with George Floyd going on. We had the stuff in Missouri that was going on. We had police brutality.
George Floyd was not the Green Book. Yeah.
That movie championed love between white and black people. That a man who wasn't around black people had to take a road trip down to the deep South with a black man, and he was his chauffeur. And then he saw how that man was treated in the South. And then when it came to him coming back, he brought him into his own Christmas dinner. And it's how he changed his own mind. And that's how we as a society, as a country, had to come to a different conclusion about that we're all Americans.
We won't get into the Green Book discourse in and of itself. That was a whole nother topic of itself. It's fine. It's a fine film. But like what I was going to add upon that is that you're right. The Academy does not look at what will stand the test of time. That's not what they're looking at when they vote for Best Picture. Do I like Power of the Dog more than CODA? Absolutely. Do I think it's a better film? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, preferential ballots, and just overall momentum. CODA was just so well liked among everybody, and that they were like the fact that it went 3 for 3. Listen to the stat. First Best Picture since the early 30s to win with less than 5 nominations. Like no other Best Picture has won since the 30s. I'm not sure if that's Grand Hotel year. But just imagine that for a second. Like it's the first Best Picture winner to win without a Best Director or Best Editing nomination since Best Editing became a thing back early in the Oscars time, which I believe at this point is just fantastic to think about. And then conversely, one of my favorite moments too is that while it only won 1 for The Power of the Dog for Jane Campion and director, I still see Jane Campion's win as like we are now going to say Jane Campion's win is in the same breath as The Graduate and Mike Nichols' single win for The Graduate, which that's not bad. That's not a bad place to be right next to. And I think that now we'll be able to be like, hey, Jane Campion won for Power of the Dog, Mike Nichols won for The Graduate. It's an amazing stat to be able to have.
Yeah, no, I mean, on that note, Bibiani actually said that it was actually the first movie since The Graduate for that to happen.
Yes.
Like, and for that to be a stat on its own is good. Because it's one of those ones in this day and age, like, there's been a lot of things that has happened. Like, sometimes the best director will line up with best picture. Sometimes they want to spread love, like, they'll give best director to one of them and picture to the other, and I think this is the case where like they were saying that Power Dog is a well-directed movie.
Yes,
but overall, they think CODA is the better movie, and I mean, I personally love CODA more than Power the Dog for its great.
Oh, that again, I don't dislike CODA. I won't let that out to be the record state. I do not dislike CODA. I think it's a really good film. I just get more enjoyment out of watching Power of the Dog in comparison to CODA. Am I heartless? I don't know. I'll let that be out in the ether and you guys can decide. But I think this is overall just like this showed also, forget anonymous ballots. I'm never listening to anonymous ballots ever again. People were like, Penelope Cruz could do it in these anonymous ballots, or, you know, and then the worst person in the world could do it in these anonymous ballots, and look what happened. Never again. Other great highlights is that Kenneth Branagh won for Best Original Screenplay. Original Adapted Screenplay went to Shawn for CODA. The actors went as usual, and Troy Kotsur and Ariana DeBose both had fantastic. They weren't mentioned yet, but they had fantastic speeches, really heartfelt speeches.
Also, Ariana DeBose is the first person of the LGBTQ to win,
and Afro Latina to actually win as well.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to think like, wow, that's the first time that's happened. Really? It's amazing to think about, honestly. I will also add too, she's also from North Carolina, Raleigh. So I got to represent that. I'm totally happy for that.
One thing I will say is when they brought out the Juno cast, I was completely thrown back because it's the first time I'd actually heard Elliot Page talk since his transition.
I know. Why do they just bring out the actors? Why don't you bring back, I don't know, some of the directors or the writers for Juno won screenplay. Where's the writer? Where's the writer? Sorry.
Diablo Cody, right?
Thank you.
That was Malcolm. I'm right there with you. I've never seen him talk like that. Since the transition. I'm like, holy crap. I just can't see Ellen Page as this person. It was really, definitely threw me off.
Especially with the fact they played the clip of Juno beforehand.
Yeah,
because I knew Elliot Page when he was Ellen Page, so it's very much more along the line of like it's readjusting. Because again, we have read, you know, the article. At least I read the article online about when he transitioned. But you know, it's it's the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, where we've had a prominent actor or actress, no matter who you are, has transitioned. I don't think that's ever transpired so that's the first.
Yeah.
You know what's the irony about it is the movie theater that I was in, it's one of these dine-in movie theaters, and my friend was with me, and she had told me about one of the servers. The servers was a girl transitioning into a boy as well, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden we get the Ellen Page thing, the Elliot Page thing. I'm like, okay, I guess this is becoming more and more prevalent in society, which I did not realize.
I think it is becoming a lot more prevalent. It's becoming a lot more. We're talking about it more, and we're actually being able to like we're talking about it and bringing it into the light. But regardless, that's not huge tangent aside. I want to add, based solely upon the fact, is that I think that these Oscars, while predictable in some ways, were truly a great representation of just kind of like the diversity that is, the diversity that is the world, not just America, but the world. And I think that you have someone like Jane Campion, who is the second woman director to, as you said, or sorry, she is the first time we've had back-to-back women directing winners. We've had more women directing winners in this past 5 years than we've ever had in general. Like, just think about that.
Yeah. And I think part of that's definitely shown like how much like the Oscars, the Academy's body has changed a lot from bringing in these new members, because the fact we are getting a lot more diversity with the nominations and winners in that, it's a really good thing.
It is. We are giving we are giving voice to new voices that need to be heard, and that it can only help, because the more voices that you hear, the more you can truly and successfully be open and hear the many voices. Because if you just hear a single echo chamber like we had back in the day, you're only get one type of movie. We've gotten so many films recently. We've gotten Parasite before that won in the past. We've gotten a Moonlight that's won before in the past. We got Nomadland that won last year. It's a nice array of films that we've had. And I want to ask this before we start to wrap up. Also, I just want to comment. Joe Walker's speech for Best Editing, for even though it was a little section, I would have loved to have heard the full thing. Oscars, let us watch the full thing on your YouTube. I want to see Joe Walker win his Oscar, his much-deserved Oscar. That comment about how his daughter was like, oh, you just Oscar nominated Joe Walker, when they got into an argument. It was kind of cute and hilarious. I love that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do release the full speeches on the YouTube channel.
They should.
I think they do that with all the ones that are on the actual show. So they should. You've got the recorded, so show the full fun.
Yes,
unedited.
And we should 100%. Oscar winner Riz Ahmed.
That was probably the worst edited, because you could tell they edited a lot out from his, because it was literally 2 sentences, and I'm like, come on, I want to hear him. I want to hear more. You can't just let him.
Time anything happens, Oscar winner Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, honestly, and people be like, "What did he win for?" Oh, he won for that short film that they kind of only gave him two little lines.
I mean, Taika Waititi's first Oscar win was for a short.
There you go. He was Oscar winner Taika Waititi. I forgot about that. Anyway,
now.
So where do we think CODA's Best Picture win will land when it comes to, like, let's say a year has gone by already? Where do we think it's going to land in the pantheon of Best Pictures? I think when it comes to, like, and could change in the next year, I think hindsight's 2020, as they say. It's going to appear solely kind of like in the middle, like where it's like, hey, this is not one of the best films of all time, but this is a movie that, when all is said and done, came out at the right place at the right time and touched the right lives. And a cultural renaissance, and again, a cultural touchstone, as it was. Maybe a middle upper, perhaps.
No, yeah. I agree. Nomadland was the same way. I don't think it's going to be considered one of the best films they've ever given Best Picture to, but it's also not one of the worst films.
No.
But I'm maybe this is a controversial stance on this. I don't think any of the films that they've given Best Picture to are bad films. I think they're all great films in their own way.
I don't disagree.
Even Crash, and I know a lot of people. Oh, Crash, that was a freaking great film, and you don't remember the country as a whole getting around that film and how that film was gaining momentum at that particular time. And I was around and I was following everything, and I could see it, I could feel it, how it was gaining. And so I think all the films that have won deserve to win. And I don't think they're bad films, but I think Nomadland and CODA are going to be somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, CODA might fall in my top 10. I haven't updated my Best Picture ranking on Letterboxd yet, partly because there's still a lot of Best Picture winners I've still got to see.
Always.
But one thing I do hate is whenever something wins that people don't want to win, there's this discourse that starts rumbling like, it was the worst Oscar movie to win, because I have seen a couple of people say that about CODA.
That's unfair.
I don't agree with that thing, and it's really unfair because I think with the whole La La Land Moonlight debacle, I think there was a lot of people going, "Oh, La La Land is trash because it almost won Best Picture." Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know if it almost won. But
it was number 2. I think almost certainly it was number 2.
But it's just one of those ones like this discourse trying to discount a movie when it wins Best Picture, and that is trash in my opinion, because all movies deserve to be nominated. All movies that everything that won, I think, deserve to win. Would have loved to see Kristen Stewart win Best Actress when she wasn't nominated anywhere else. Of course I would. But I'm not going to start turning around going, "Oh, Jessica Chastain was trash in the eyes of Tammy Faye," because I really did like her in that movie.
She's very good.
I just
Love
liked
her.
Kristen Stewart a lot more. I mean,
fair.
And it's one of those ones, because the momentum of Chastain was having, I was not brave enough to change that prediction, and I'm glad I didn't change that prediction.
I'm glad you didn't either. Yeah, I think that when all is said and done, CODA is just the little movie that could. Also, isn't it crazy to think that only one movie that's premiered at Sundance has officially won Best Picture? That's so weird to think about.
Weird. Well, actually, this year they ended up with 4 Academy Awards based on last year's Sundance films, and that's 3 for CODA and 1 for Summer of Soul.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm curious, looking back, thinking, well, wait a minute, what could do it this year? Could Navalny break free and be the documentary to beat?
Real Smooth is the one that I'm telling you right now. It's in my top. Well, I've only got 2. I created a letterbox list, right? The best films of 2022, and there's only 2 films in there, and that's The Batman and Cha Cha Real Smooth.
No.
I'm thinking I'm gonna bump it up to about 5 after about next week. But keep an eye out for Cha Cha Real Smooth. It could be the CODA next year.
They made a movie about the Cha Cha Slide song.
Yes, they absolutely did.
Yes. But it's not what you think now, because I'm not the biggest fan of that song. I'm sick. I don't go to weddings, and I'm not. But when you see the movie, you're like, "Oh my God, this is so." Oh God, I'm not going to give it away, Malcolm.
They don't. It's not about the song, so don't worry about that. It's not about it.
It's just
it's in one scene. Turn it back now, y'all. One hot.
I mean, I love the song myself.
I feel like
I want to care if the whole movie was about the song.
I'll put money on it. They get the guy to come on the Oscars next year to sing that song.
No, they're not going to do that. I'll put money on it.
He's going to be out there singing the Cha Cha Real Smooth next year. I
think it's probably going to depend on how it gets received.
Oh, it'll get received great.
Well, I mean, there's. To be fair,
it was received well out of Sundance. Like it's one of my favorites. So I'm hoping.
Who bought it, Manning?
Apple.
Apple. Thank you.
Watch out, the first streamer to win. Sorry, Netflix.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. I think if it does get at least nominated, I could see them at least getting the person to sing the song at the opening. Even though it's not an original song, it won't be nominated there. But
just picture this, Malcolm. They get the cha-cha song going on, and everybody's doing the dance. Just picture the entire Dolby Theater. Everybody doing the cha-cha real smooth dance.
I can't.
I'm not
thank
the biggest
you.
fan of that damn dance, but I'm telling you, if this movie resonates like I think it will, look out.
Well, again, we will talk more about that when we have our prediction special coming up for next year. Our way too early predictions, not this next episode, but the episode after that. For
I could imagine Glenn Close getting up to dance. She likes the butt.
She does like.
Good point, Malcolm.
What a bit! What a weird bit that was. What a weird year. And now we have finished this year.
Malcolm, that was a good butt of the joke.
Nope, we're pulling the plug on this, everybody. All right. So, yeah, that has been the Oscars. I mean, it's kind of predictable, and it's with some unpredictable. Also, quickly, that James Bond why did they do that? It made no sense, and I did not like it.
I knew it.
Quickly.
I mean, it's one of those ones. Why get them? I mean, you had Judi Dench, Harvey Bardem. They were there. And I mean, as some people have said, like Anthony Hopkins and Judi Dench don't usually go to these things.
They don't.
Judi Dench was there. So
there's 3 James Bonds.
There's 3 James Bonds still alive. Yeah,
there's 3 James Bonds alive. Get them.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, whether or not they were there, I mean, it's one of those ones like I don't get why you got the X Games, because I think I said to
was ridiculous.
Because I think I was watching the Cinephanatics streams, like they really aren't relevant anymore. I mean,
no,
because I mean, like Shawn White, and as they pointed out, Shawn White was at the Olympics,
and Shawn and Tony Hawk's got a documentary coming out.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's probably part of the reason they brought them on. But it's like,
still though, there's no reason for them to be there.
Nope.
I mean, if they had a best stunt category, maybe that would make sense for them to present.
Yeah, what was that with DJ Khaled?
What a waste! What did I tell you? I knew these guys were going to be a waste. I just knew it. And they
also,
were.
why was Shawn Mendes and Tracy Ellis Ross presenting Best Adapted Screenplay? There was literally no reason for them to. There's like no connection. They had a really cool original with I don't understand.
Who won screenplay last year? I'll tell you. I think whoever won one of the screenplays couldn't make it.
It was Florian Zeller, but Florian Zeller and Emerald Fennell both won, and I don't know why they both either couldn't make it. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones because I think with pandemic and that, like maybe some people just weren't wanting to fly out.
But they got Hopkins. He was the hardest person to get.
And Judi Dench.
Which a great moment, I will say, also too, seeing Hopkins get that standing ovation he deserved last year.
Well, yeah, I mean it's one of those ones. I mean Judi Dench was nominated, so I think like that's probably. I'm not going to say that's why, but that they might have nominated you so they could guess you there.
No.
And I think. But I mean, and I think with Anthony Hopkins, I think he felt guilty about that whole mess last year. So like,
I'm sure.
I will come down and make an appearance this time, just to present this award, which I would have done anyway. Maybe he would have done it anyway. But I think it's like partly is like just so that people know I do want to turn up to these things.
Actually, I thought he was going to say something about last year, and then. I think in his mind, he may have thought about it and then decided against it because I was like, oh, is he going to say something about something that's happening this year that
maybe
now, and then he just kept on kind of going with the script or whatever he was supposed to read.
And I know we don't really talk about, but how do we feel of how they did the In Memoriam? Because, I mean, it's one of those ones like with the music choice, I I actually didn't mind it that much.
I don't mind it. It's the dancers that killed me. That's what killed me personally.
The chorus. They had the soul chorus doing this.
Yeah.
And then they said, if there's anybody we missed, go to this website and you can. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, it's one of those because I didn't mind the fact that they did that because at least they were willing to acknowledge that they might have missed some people.
Yes, you're always going to.
But one thing I really did appreciate that because I think this is the first time they've done it. I appreciated getting like Bill Murray.
I liked that.
I don't know who that was that was talking about Sydney. And was that B. Arthur that did Betty White?
No, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
With the cat or a little puppy.
Yeah.
But I liked that when they get them to do a little anecdote about those people. And
that was the best part of the in memoriam section.
Well, it's what because there definitely was some noticeable people. There's some people pointed out because Bob Saget was one that was notably not there. But I mean, it's one of those ones. I get it. He was in movies.
Yes, but he was more of a TV guy.
He is more of a TV person. I expect to see him in the Emmys when it comes to there. But
for sure.
But I know there's a lot of people upset about Bob Saget being left off. But yeah.
Well, we have come to the end of the journey. And the Oscars have officially wrapped up. Can you guys believe it? We are here. And it is over. And we have it's been a long year. But next week we are going to have our top 10 of 2021 before we put the bow on this year and we proceed to the next year. We have 2 more episodes this season. 101 will be our top 2020 top films of 2020 with special guest Chadwick Webb, and Dylan. I can't pronounce
Dylan Randazzo and Chad Webb.
Thank you. I don't. Yeah, there we go. My brain totally died. I'm like, why do I call him Chadwick? They're like, no, it's Chad. Because whenever I put him on Facebook Messenger, it's Chadwick. So my brain's like, I don't know why I had that in my brain. Regardless, Dylan, I'm sorry I can't pronounce your last name. You guys will be joining us next week when we get that all scheduled. Hopefully next Sunday, our normal scheduled time. We'll have that all situated for y'all. But where can they find you, Malcolm?
You can find me on Take 3 Productions, where I host a Rankum every Saturday. Next week is going to be the top 12 movies of 2012. Should be a lot of fun. And you can find me in a few minutes over on the Full Metal channel hosting trivia. Perfect. And Dan, where can they find you?
You can always find me at disappointmentmedia.com where I review all kinds of things. I got a bunch of movies coming up here. So I'm going to be cranking out reviews left and right of TV shows, about movies, about all kinds of stuff. If I'm not reviewing for disappointmentmedia.com, I'm reviewing for my personal blog from the fourth row.wordpress.com. And I do have a YouTube show that I'm going to be cranking back up here pretty soon. Bleacher Features. So stay tuned for that. And my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest.
And you can find me on Twitter at Cine_man. That's CINE_MANN, as well as on my YouTube channel, Manning Franks, and as well on WFMY News 2, where I review bi-weekly. Today, we released the review of Drive My Car, so check that out on our YouTube channel for WFMY News 2, and that's under the category News 2 Reviews. Spoiler, I love the movie. Are we shocked? And then, of course, you can find us here on Take 3 Productions, where we host Gone with the Wind. And as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, where you can download us and listen to us there. Thank you guys for listening to and following us this year for Gone with the Wind. Thank you guys. And remember to always cue the music, because I didn't do it last time, so I'm going to do it right now. So here we go.